Imagine paying over $400,000 just in interest on a 2015 Lamborghini Aventador. 25% interest.
Millionaires that we studied, they drive 4-year-old cars, and the top brands were Toyota and Honda. And you're going, oh, I thought millionaires are driving like Lamborghinis and Lexuses and Mercedes.
Man, the worst thing you can have is a car note. That's the worst thing you can have, especially if you can't afford it.
Tesla Model 3, I love her. I enjoy her. But I do not enjoy this car note.
I always tell you guys to imagine things before we start the video, but just imagine this. Imagine paying $400,000 in just interest for a 2015 Lamborghini that is 11 years old. Not the car, but just the interest in itself. And we're going to talk about how having a car payment is America's biggest wealth killer, which only enriches the bank and not the driver or the person paying the car payment. That's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. My name is MJ, and this channel we discuss financial literacy, avoiding debt, and how to make better financial decisions through other people's experience. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm to push the message and to support the channel. Hit the post notification so you don't miss any videos. Let's get straight into it.
Imagine paying over $400,000 just in interest on a 2015 Lamborghini Aventador. 25% interest. Subprime Lambo deal. That is diabolical. That's for an 84-month term. If they stuck it out, they didn't refinance. After putting down $83,000, they're going to be paying a total of $771,000 for a 2015 Lamborghini Aventador. Now, to be fair, after Meekum's auto auction, there have been some crazy record sales for Ferraris, Lambos, and a bunch of other high-end exotic vehicles. But that still does not qualify or quantify somebody paying almost $500,000 in interest on a Lamborghini Aventador. To all you core sellers, anybody that is going to try to qualify themselves with a 25% interest rate on a Lamborghini Aventador to pay almost more than $400,000, it's not worth it, I promise you. But the cool thing is, if you're late on your payment, after 10 days, they only charge $5, and after 14, it's going to be $25 added to your payment. So not a bad deal, right? I don't know if this is real or not, but if it's real, please, if anybody signed this, I pray to God you refinance immediately, or if you are still thinking about it, don't do it because it's not worth it. I promise you. $771,000 for a 2015 Lamborghini Aventador is absolutely diabolical. Unless it's made of gold or something. This is what people pay in interest on a 100%. Mortgage in 15 years of ownership.
100%. This is what happens when ego and desperations just pair up. You get this financial horror story and this financial big of a headache. You know what I mean? You put $83,000 down. You could have just bought an X7 BMW. You could have bought like a Corvette. But again, congratulations, right? You bought the bank 2 Lamborghinis. You bought the bank 2 Lamborghinis. Congratulations. And you also, right? This is 2 houses at $400,000. And the sad part is the deeper problem is that a lot of people don't even want the car, right? They want the image. They want people to think they made it. They want to look successful rather than be successful. But the banks love this deal. The dealerships love this deal. If you have to sign up for a 24% just to drive a Lamborghini, you're not in your Lamborghini season yet. I'm sorry to tell you that. That's perfectly fine. But because people who actually become wealthy usually do the opposite, right? They delay the flex, they build the assets, and then they practice delayed gratification over instant gratification. They don't have to sell a course. They build the real assets. They build real skills, right? High income skills. And then later they can buy the toy without selling their future. This is not a car purchase. This is a $400,000 mistake with nice seats and an engine. When will people learn? When will people learn that flexing and living this type of lifestyle for other people is usually going to be at their demise? Comment down below what you guys think.
Millionaires that we studied, they drive 4-year-old cars, and the top brands were Toyota and Honda. And you're going, oh, I thought millionaires are driving like Lamborghinis and Lexuses and Mercedes. No, millionaires, the guy at the stoplight next to you driving the nice car is probably broke. And the guy driving the crappy car with the bumper hanging off probably has more money in his bank account than you'll ever see. And so we have to reframe what wealth looks like, and it's not always visible to the naked eye. And that's a weird thing to think about. Like the farmer out there with the mud on his boots has a $3 million net worth, and the guy with the fancy suit driving the luxury car could have payments up to his eyeballs and a marriage
and kicking
falling
back
apart.
from what he said, and from the last clip, you can see why. You start to understand why millionaires, self-made millionaires, honestly do the opposite of what that person did. $400,000 in interest is diabolical to me. It's just unimaginable to me. But this is what happens when you don't have the financial literacy, the financial knowledge, or even equip yourself with just financial tools that can help you know basic things or negate certain situations. But yes, most millionaires, self-made millionaires, drive Hondas, Toyotas, Chevys, and Fords. Cars that are, basic economy cars, delayed gratification over instant gratification, and just not caring what anybody thinks about them. They can listen, most people, and I do agree with what he said, that like most people that have the Lamborghinis and all this stuff, they live their lives. Building wealth is boring, right? Having money and saving money in itself, when you know you have money in the bank, I swear to God, I even tested myself. I want to spend, but then I think about my kids, I think about my future, I think about the freedom. The biggest purchase you can make and the biggest resource you have, God given resource, is your time. And these things will cripple you. But if you want to show off and get a couple laughs and get a couple Instagram likes, hey, be my guest. You work hard for your money. I'm not going to tell you not to buy the car of your dreams, but make sure we do it in a way where we can afford it. And it is true. When you are highly stressed about finance and you are having debt that is all the way to your eyeballs, then everything around your life starts to fall apart. Marriage starts falling apart. So I co-sign this message. You know what I mean? But again, buy what you want. You work too hard.
Man, the worst thing you can have is a car note. That's the worst thing you can have, especially if you can't afford it. And the numbers are in. CNN said that 70% of Americans are behind on their car payments and can't even afford the cars they drive. So most people going out to get these car notes just to impress a stranger that's a stranger at the light for a half a second that they'll never meet or be introduced to. You gotta be weird with your money, man. You cannot get caught up in letting everybody else, oh man, you need to flex it. Oh, you need to show it. Oh, you need to pop it. No. All these folks talking about pop it, they scamming, they selling drugs.
Or
Doing all type
they're
of stuff that
scamming
goes
so
against
hard that they have to buy a $400,000 Lamborghini and pay $400,000 in interest.
God's kingdom. Can't do what they do. They gonna have their time. Trust me. They're gonna have their time. You know what I'm saying? Instead, you should want to pop it in the kingdom. That's the real pop it. When you pop it, when you get to the kingdom, that's the real pop it.
Right.
Doing the right thing every day, that's really popping it.
It is true. It is the biggest wealth killer. And if you really look at it, is that Americans are really buried in car debt. Like when you see the US auto loan debt, it is around 1.6 trillion and it keeps getting bigger every year. And that makes it one of the highest and the largest categories of consumer debt in the country. Like think about that. No businesses, no investments, cars. That's why it's a wealth killer, right? And then people will normalize getting it for 6, 7 years, right? Like 69 months. Like that means people are committing to this for half a decade, right? To a depreciating asset. And half the time, people want a new car before the loan is even finished, which then creates this negative equity pandemic and cycle that we're in. And you also, on top of that, have interests that are destroying people with bad credit. The guy with the Lamborghini paying $400,000 in interest went to a subprime lender, meaning he couldn't even get it from the regular bank. It's just sad. And that's the reason why he has that high interest rate. Most banks did not want to deal with him. They said it's a headache and they can see the repo from a mile away. It is a wealth killer. I don't know how many times you have to hear this, but I'm not anti-fun. I'm not anti-car. I'm big on affordability is important. If you can afford it and it's 10% of your income, hey, you work too hard not to drive that car. You can afford it, go for it. But sometimes people know they can't afford it, so they go through a bank, and the banks are just going to milk the situation because sometimes pre-approval does not equal affordability. And let me know your thoughts and comments if I'm just blabbering or if what I'm saying is actually factual. Wow. Just got repoed Wednesday after 3 years. I ain't even tripping. I'm done. Going to get me a $3,500 Honda. Okay. That's the problem, right? Is that people know that for you to have more of your paycheck, you have to do the boring things. You have to get a beater. You have to get a car that's old. You have to get a car that's reliable, that can, that you work on it, that needs some tender loving care. You fix a couple things and you're good. Heck, that's what I do. I can go get a car right now. I don't want it. I don't want that headache. I don't want to feel like my chest is being squeezed every time the payment is due. And what's crazy about people that really don't want to make it far in life is that they have car payments. Somebody else said, nobody's trying to impress anybody. Cars are overpriced and there's absolutely nothing we could do about it. If a rational person with critical thinking would say, if the cars are overpriced, why don't I just avoid that? Because I know I can't do nothing about it. This is a person that really wants to get a car payment. Big facts. Big flex is no car payments. 100%. Somebody said, it costs to ride pretty. 100%. 100%. Somebody said, normalizing a car note over $1,000 nowadays is crazy to me. That used to be a mortgage or rent.
I will be paying $1,500 towards my car note for the next 11 months, even though my car note is half of that. I have decided that 2026 is the year that I get out of debt when it comes to cars. I have never had a car note before, and I only got one towards the end of 2024. And now that I've been in it for a year, I've only got another year in me. I have a 2025 Tesla Model 3. I love her. I enjoy her. But I do not enjoy this car note. I will put it here, but I am scheduled to pay her off by December of 2027. I want to have her paid off by December of 2026. Now, I'm in a fortunate position where when I got my Tesla, they were running a special of 0% APR. So all of my payments so far only go towards the principal. I have no interest. Around mid-July of 2025, that is when I started making $1,000 towards my car payments. So my payment is technically $791.30, but I opt into paying an additional $208.70 so that it makes it an even $1,000. So as of the end of January, I will owe $16,500 on my Tesla. I went into Excel and I did some numbers. This is my payment schedule for the next 11 months. If I want to be able to pay off the remaining $16,500 in the next 11 months, I need to be paying $1,500 for the next 11 months. Now, fortunately, I'm in a position where that is not impossible. It's just annoying to be able to do that because it requires sacrifices on my part, but I am more than willing to make those sacrifices. I am more than willing to put less in my savings. I am more than willing to cut expenses in certain areas.
The fact that we're not going to build the savings, but we're going to pay off a car that you, number one, didn't want to get into. She did some things that I clap for, you know what I mean? I applaud. She started off with having no APR. That's good, which means all the money, every single dollar is going towards the equity of the car and the ownership of the car. That's great. Which will then negate her not being in a negative equity that, most people are in. Is like almost 80 to 90% of people that have car payments have a negative equity problem. But like she said, it's annoying. She's annoyed with having this car and she has to make sacrifices. For the next year, she has to hit that $1,500. God, that's some people's rent. That's some people's mortgages. For a car, that's diabolical and that's crazy. But at the end of the day, is that, she's in a good position, like she said. She makes good money. She can make the sacrifices. She can afford it. But God forbid, let's say you get laid off. God forbid, let's say a health crisis or you get sick happens. Now you see the problem that can arise from that. You intended on finishing off the car, but now life always has surprises. Life always has hiccups and barricades to throw you off because life is always going to come with surprises. Cars just signal success. And if you want to build wealth, you have to have the boring cars, the paid off cars, the older cars, because you understand something that most people don't. That's cash flow creates freedom. Car payments destroy it. She literally said that she's going to not put money into savings so she can get this done. But with that being said, guys, leave your thoughts and opinions in any of the clips that you enjoyed or that stood out to you most. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe so you guys don't miss future videos, and comment because I want to hear what you guys have to say. With that being said, be good, do good. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.